school in Tondiarpet. There also we have improved the infrastructure, and this year we want to make them uniforms, books and all facilities which are available in the government schools of Tamil Nadu. So that same thing from June onwards we propose to give to them, and entire infrastructure has been renovated there. Next slide. This is our stadium. As you might be aware that we were not using it for some time. After COVID we have renovated, and now in fact this is just whatever infrastructure was there, we have improved it again. But now further we want to add facilities like volleyball courts, kabaddi courts, lawn tennis courts. Nearby one community hall is there. We want to convert it into a badminton court, a TT room, etc. Next slide, please. If you look at our colony, it used to be in a very bad condition in Tondiarpet. We have around 1,200 houses there. We did an extensive survey. We found around 400 houses cannot be repaired. We are demolishing them, and remaining 800 we are improving at a cost of around 11 crores. Now, as a next step, we are also taking up electrical works there. That work also is in progress. Then we are also taking up common infrastructure like roads, compound walls, street lights. Entire thing we are improving. Those estimates and tendering is now going on. Next slide, please. This is our facade. I'm sure you would have been used to seeing a white building and a pink building. Now we have converted it into, it was not painted for a long time. The red building was not painted from 2009. We did all small repairs which are required to fins, windows, everything we have repaired in both the buildings. And now you can see our national flag also flying with pride in front of our office. Next slide. This is, we have planted around 3,000 saplings now, and this not only helps in dust control, but it also improves the environmental situation at the port. Next slide. This is a new sewage treatment plant that we have put. We have facility of metro water, but we wanted to reduce the quantity of metro water that we are consuming. So when we complete this 40 KLD plant and one more 90 KLD plant we have awarded already, around 1.3 lakh liter of water we'll be recycling every day. We'll be using it for our landscaping and sprinkling on the roads for dust control. So instead of going into the STP of metro water and creating load there, we will treat the water here itself and use it for landscaping and sprinkling on the roads. This is Swachh Sagar, Surashit Sagar campaign, where our honorable ministers had visited, and we had cleaned the beach, Basan Nagar beach. So some photographs from there. Next slide, please. Now way ahead. So this is what we have done. Now what we want to do. So what we want to do, as we had good support from you and you had given publicity, we have, after a long time, from 2017, what was being discussed, we started the coastal run, and now today also the vessel is on the way from Puducherry. Okay. Of course there are hiccups when you start something new. There are hiccups. For example, shipping lines have to permit the storage of empty containers there. Then here, from where more movement is happening, whether from DP World or from PSA, and whether we have enough traffic for Ennore and Katupalli, all that is being sorted out. But I am very sure that over next few weeks this will stabilize. Then next is, as I mentioned, that ONB yard connectivity. Now works are almost over. The final small stretch is remaining. Third point is very important, internal roads, because once the work of elevated corridor comes to a certain shape, then entire movement of traffic is likely to get changed inside the port. Now today 95% of my cargo is coming from the northern side, from what we call gate number 1 or 0 gate. Once elevated corridor is done, that entire thing will start shifting towards southern side. So my road should be able to take the load. So already we have called a tender for consultancy, so that this internal road layout has to be worked out, and accordingly we will have to lay those roads We will have to have our scanners, container scanners, etc. this side. So all that planning already we have started, and that's why this internal road consultancy we are awarding right now. Warehouses, as I informed, 68,000 square meters already we are improving, and further 4 warehouses we want to award this year, which will be around 20,000 square meters. So that already we have prepared estimates. I think civil comes to around 74 crores, 78 crores. So that will be tendering 4 new godowns where, because there's a lot of demand for these warehouses. Then paved area, as you have seen in the ONB yard we have done now, it has improved the neatness and made it dust-free area. That also we want to put around 140,000 square meters. Of this, around 2/3 will be awarding now this year, and remaining we will do based upon elevated corridor and internal road layout. We don't want to waste money in doing something and then road cutting through that. 2/3 is clear. We know that, okay, this, if we put it here, it won't get affected by the change of elevated corridor and internal roads, but remaining 1/3 we will do based upon that arrangement. Then multi-level car parking we want to start, because right now the cars are standing in a zigzag manner. So we want to have a multi-level car parking for 3,500 cars. And of course we will be continuously engaging with the trade to facilitate their interaction with us. Now you just show that video. This is hardly 1.5 minute video. Kindly have a look. This is a very interesting thing which happened in our port. What happened?
से आकार देना हो और साथ ही 14,000 किलोमीटर
Audio part I will explain to you in English and Tamil, because this was put on the Twitter of our the ministry. So here you can see this is the vessel which is getting exported. This is going to Guyana. This is the submersible vessel which has gone underwater. Now this vessel has come above that. Now this is the route it is taking. It is going to north of South America, more than 14,000 kilometers. So you can see that submersible vessel is below. That vessel has moved, tugs are guiding it, and it is shifting towards all these logs have been placed so that it doesn't get disturbed once it is there. So it has gone on to that bigger vessel, and that vessel has come up now again. Just put the Kamarajar port. Now we will move on to the presentation of Kamarajar Port, which is fully owned subsidiary of Chennai Port. Next slide, please. This is how the presentation has been organized on these lines. Next slide, please. So here you can see that most of our cargo, actually Kamarajar Port is the energy port of this part of the country. We handle coal for Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, that is TANGEDCO now. Then NTECL, which is the joint venture of NTPC and TANGEDCO. And we have a common user coal terminal, which is also handling coal for the private plants. So as you can see that 60% of our cargo is dry bulk here, but containers, which was nothing up to 2018, today it is around 1/4 of our cargo basket. But as you can see that, that's why there's a lot of competition. We have 3 terminals in our fold. There's an entire container port next to us. So next slide please. But sorry, here the biggest thing is that of course 43.51 million tons is the highest ever which has been handled in Kamarajar port, and having a healthy growth of 12.31%. Like I had told you last year also, that growth is happening in Kamarajar, the capacity addition is happening in Kamarajar, and here we are trying to maintain the cargo, and once elevated corridor comes, then we will start growing here also. But 40-50 years down the line, maybe our Kamarajar will be the main port of Chennai, and we will start looking at a marina kind of facility in Chennai port. But because of elevated corridor, that time will get pushed by almost 20-30 years. We will look at, I don't know whether I'll be here also on this earth at that time, but at some point of time, Chennai port, maybe 50-60 years down the line, we'll start looking at some kind of a marina for this city, and Kamarajar will be the main port of this city. Next slide. So as we indicated, the highest ever cargo, in fact we are hoping to do 50 million tons in next year. That is the target we have set for ourselves. And 927 vessels and 71 were bunker vessels. As I had informed you that bunker berth is at Chennai. So IOCL takes the fuel, bunker is the fuel. That bunker barge, it goes from here and it serves the vessels in Kamarajar port also and in Katupalli port also. So in fact that 927 vessels which we handled, of that 112 vessels, they took fuel also, which was supplied from Chennai port through barge. Our multi-cargo terminal has shown the highest growth, and coal handling has also shown a healthy growth. Container is also maintaining the momentum at around 15%, despite loss of Ford. By attracting Maruti, Toyota again, Isuzu doing more, and we have been able to maintain a positive growth there. And we have signed long-term agreements with these companies. Maruti, PCA is the Citroën car, and recently, it's a French car. Recently we had the first export of Citroën car also they have started, and slowly that will be growing. Renault Nissan is already there with us for last 10 years. They have already exported more than 1 million cars from our port, and we have renewed our agreement with them for further 5 years with a provision for further extending for next 5 years. Next slide please. These are the performance highlights, that how very big vessels we have been handling. In our press note which we will be giving to you, all these details are mentioned. So how very large vessels we are handling there. In fact, the last slide which I am going to present is something which will be a game changer for Kamarajar port. It has already been approved by the board. Next slide please. These are our financial highlights. For the first time in our career of last around 22 years, we have crossed 1,000 crore. In fact, it is around 1,002 crores during a year, and our revenue, our income has grown by 17.82%. And our operating surplus is 705 crores as compared to 582 crores last year. And operating ratio, as you can see here, I mean, there we are spending around 66, 67 rupees to earn 100 rupees. But in Kamarajar, we are spending only 27 rupees to earn 100 rupees. And we are improving further and further. From 30, we have come to 27. And this is not only cash. Cash is only 20 rupees. This balance 7 is around depreciation and all those things. So I am only spending cash of 20 rupees to earn 100, which is the best among the 12 major ports of the country. It's the best ratio. And capital expenditure, which I will be showing you what projects we have undertaken. We have spent our own money of around 280 crores. And of course, our PPP partner, captive partner, is also spending money like IOCL in developing berth. Then to take up some works, we had issued tax-free bonds that were 10 years and 15 years. That was done in 12-13, so they became due for redemption now. We have paid those 83 crores. A similar amount we are going to pay in coming year also by March of 24, and next redemption will be around 28. So the reason I'm highlighting these to you, that despite all these commitments, all this what we are doing, we have achieved a profit before tax of 670 crores. So a very good, tight financial management we are doing. We are optimizing our resources, and that is why both the ports, here you see we have a net surplus of 150 crores, and in Kamarajar we have a profit before tax of around 670 crores. Next slide please. These are our business-friendly measures. We have given concessions on VRC. Then we have indigenized, because normally Kongsberg, one company, will be giving the vessel traffic management system. It was being used till April of 22. Now we have started using the VTMS supplied by IIT Madras, and our in Chennai also our current contract will be ending in the first quarter of next year. We will be shifting to the software of IIT Madras. Among the 12 ports, we were given Samudri Paryavaran Paridakshan Trophy. This is for environmental protection. So we got that award from Director General of Coast Guard this year. Shore power supply. When the ship is on the berth, then it should not be running on its own generators. To supply power, that initiative we are taking at Kamarajar, our goal berth 1 and 2, we are putting provision for shore power supply. We have commissioned a new solar power plant of 300 kilowatts, and we have started using e-vehicles for our garbage clearance. Next slide. This is our CSR activity. This year we are going to spend around 10 crores. Last year we spent around 7 crores. And as you are aware, there was an unfortunate incident of a school building falling down in southern part of the state. After that, state government had demolished all the dilapidated buildings. So on request of collector, we have come forward and we are taking up 20 school buildings in Tiruvallur district in and around our area. Next slide please. This is our berth-wise performance. As you can see that there are only two negatives. One is LNG terminal. Because of Ukraine-Russia war, LNG prices are high, so demand for LNG came down, and there is a slight dip in the liquid terminal which handles our petrol, diesel and then LPG. Rest all terminals are having good growth. Next slide please. This is our car export, already I have explained in detail. Next slide please. This is our operating income has gone to 977 crores. Miscellaneous income is 24, our interest income, etc. Total is 1002 crores, expenditure is 271. So we are having an operating surplus of 705 crores. And we are slowly economizing, and even a cost per ton has been brought down to now 62 rupees from 64 rupees. Next slide please. These are our projects which we are taking up. Two are capacity addition. Like I was telling, capacity addition, Kamarajar. So 6 million tons we are adding. One berth will be ready by October 23. And for that, dredging also, if you see the serial number 5, dredging has been awarded, which is going in parallel. So both will be done by October 23. So the berth will be ready and dredging also will be completed parallelly. The IOCL captive jetty will be done by December of 24. Southern Port Access Road, I don't know how many of you traveled from Vallur Junction to Kamarajar Port earlier. I used to travel and it used to take me a lot of time. At times I'll be stuck at the same location for 30 minutes. So now that entire road has been 4-laned concrete road. I'll be showing you pictures also. And we are doubling our rail connectivity from 22 rakes per day to 44 rakes per day, keeping in mind future. We want to be future ready. Next slide please. So this is our general cargo berth from where car exports will take place in future. What you see, the top part is the berth part. The lower part, left hand side, is the car parking area. As you will be aware, in Kamarajar Port at any point of time we can park 13,500 cars, and once we develop this it will add 6,500 cars. So at any point of time 20,000 cars can be parked in Kamarajar Port, which is not available in any port of India. Okay, next slide please. This is our IOCL captive jetty. It is a very interesting project. In fact, a few weeks later, I will request you to join us and have a site visit there, that how one berth is being developed in the harbor area. So this is a project which IOCL is taking up at a cost of 921 crores. Next slide, please. This is our southern rail connectivity, where you can see that one extra track we are laying now. It involves some long bridges also. We have constructed a long bridge on Puthiyathalaimurai, that backwaters, and other small bridges have been constructed. We are trying to finish it by 31st of May. Next slide, please. This is our southern port access road. Earlier it used to be very difficult. Now you can see a good 4-lane concrete road has been laid. Next slide, please. These are our performance parameters. As you can see that we have improved. This last year we had spent only 153 crores of money on adding infrastructure. This time we have spent 279 crores. So despite all extra expenditures, all those things, we have been making better and better profits. Next slide. This is a very important project, very ambitious project that we are taking. As I told you, when you look at limestone shifted from Chennai to Krishnapatnam because they can handle Cape-size vessels. Neither Kamarajar port today nor Chennai port can handle Cape-size vessels. Cape-size vessels are the biggest vessels. So you have, Panamax vessel, which both ports can handle. And now we want to make Kamarajar Cape compliant. So already board in its last meeting on 20th of March has approved to take up capital dredging at a cost of around 549 crores and have a draft of 18 meter at the berth so that the Cape-size vessels can come. They save money. Each vessel can carry more cargo. So this will enable us to compete with our competing ports in the nearby area. As I mentioned, Krishnapatnam is Cape compliant, so we also will become Cape compliant. And these kind of cargoes where importers or exporters want to use bigger vessels, they'll be able to use Kamarajar port. So now already our board has approved. We are sending the EFC proposal to ministry, and in 5 or 6 months from now, we are expecting to award the project. So with this small introduction about both the ports, now we are ready. I don't know whether you found it small or long.
One by one, press note will be given.
What's your name you said? Okay, Mr. Ronald, I will answer your question and then I'll also make a request. So first is that as far as the already constructed columns are concerned, the plan is, as you will know, that from Madurvayal up to Coimbatore, it is still one level only. Only between Coimbatore and Chennai port, it is becoming a double decker. So, as far as the load is concerned, it changes only between Coimbatore and Chennai port. So, those columns which are already there on Bangalore Road, that is Coimbatore, Madurvayal, they can be reused. It has been confirmed they can be reused. There are certain columns, I don't remember the exact number now, which have been laid already along the Kuam river. There now we are going to have double decker instead of single deck. Those will have to be demolished, and as per the guideline given by Water Resources Department, they will be demolished up to below the bed level of the river so that they don't affect the flow of water at all. So this is my answer to your question. Next is the request to all of you that this press conference is for achievements of Chennai Port and Kamarajar in 22-23. So don't just restrict yourself to elevated corridor. Let us talk about, because I personally feel that me and my team, and more than me, my team, they have worked very hard to sort of change the way the port is working, both the ports. So I request you to highlight those figures rather than only elevated corridor. That we will talk separately. We can even bring the regional officer of NHAI. You can get more details. Let us now talk about other achievements and other milestones. Both ports put together, we have exported 3,80,000 automobiles in this last financial year.
Container Chennai has been a leader because it started the container business way back in 1980. But you see today we have a story from JNPT. They are doing 6 million TUs. Of course you can't compare apples with oranges. But in containers we have seen the last 10 years there has been either a marginal increase or they are going down. So, container is the future. Considering that container is the future of any port, we are not doing as well as we should be doing. What are this? And I also hear a lot of ships are getting diverted to Kathapati, and you have given me your assessment where the private fellows can do so many other things. But anyway, container we are not doing as well as we should be doing. And any action plan which the port administration is taking to see that we grow in container. So that is the real growth for any port.
See, when you are talking about JNPT doing around, let us say, 6 million, right? You yourself also very rightly pointed out that things are very different on both the coasts of India, right? One is that JNPT and Mundra both are catering to a very big hinterland. The entire hinterland of Delhi, its surrounding regions, right? Western Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, that is being catered to by those two ports. Maharashtra, that is being catered. So if you look at the container traffic of India, you will find that it is very disproportionately towards the western coast. That is one part. Second part, if you look at our hinterland, ultimately the way you see the hinterland, we are catering to the hinterland. Up to Bangalore we are going, then southern Andhra Pradesh, northern Tamil Nadu. Now if you add all these 4 terminals which I mentioned, if you add Katupalli, if you add our Ennore terminal, container terminal, and the 2 terminals here, you will find that we are doing around, let's say, 1.5 here, around 0.6 there. Yeah, put together 2, yeah, around, yeah, right. So this this is nothing compared to, let us say, what is being done in JNPT, etc. Right now, but I do accept that today there is a growth of around 7% if you put together these 4 terminals. So there is a growth of 7%, but I am seeing minus 8.2%. So I have to be concerned that when overall the containers are growing, why they are not growing at my terminals, right? So we are perfectly sensitive to this situation, and that is the reason that for last around 2 to 3 months, we have been interacting very closely with our partners, and there are 2 things we have done. One was a very small thing, that we had something called loyalty discount. I don't want to bore you with details, but there were certain procedures, documentation load was there. That all we said, okay, our board has exempted and we are giving that. Second thing is we have removed that complicated procedure. From 1st April we said, let us bring this into our normal scheme itself plus extra. So that's the table which I had indicated. This is after consultation with our terminals also, both the terminals. So we have increased the discount. If I remember correctly, the highest discount used to be in the range of 50%. Now it is in 60%. So overall everybody will be gaining around 5 to 10% extra benefit now, right? But again, you have to accept that when there's a private entity doing business and government entity doing business, the way he can immediately respond to situation. Okay, Sunil Paliwala has done this. Okay, I give you 2 more. I can do this, right? I have that limitation. But we are trying to do things like, for example, you know more than me that there was a lot of traffic problems here, that congestion. Today, I can say to some satisfaction that it's a thing of the past. Okay, it should not happen again. I am putting a buffer parking yard. I'm interacting with customs to have preventive officers so that the experience of users at my port is good. So within the operating space available to me, we are aware of the problem and we are trying to tackle it.
Sir, KPL வந்து இந்த வருஷம் லாஸ்ட் இயர் வந்து இன்கம் வந்து 850 அல்ல ப்ராஃபிட் சர்ப்ளஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 705 crores. அதே மாதிரி சென்னை போர்ட் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா 943 crores, ப்ராஃபிட் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா 150 crores. ஸோ இந்த இப்போ ஒரு பெரிய போர்ட்டு சென்னை போர்ட், ஒரு லேண்ட்லார்ட் போர்ட்டு லேட்டஸ்டாக ஆரம்பிச்சதுன்னா இவ்வளவு ப்ராஃபிட் வர அளவுக்கு இது டெவலப் ஆயிருக்கு. இன் ஃபியூச்சர் இந்த அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேட்டிவ் பாலிசிஸ், ஒரு லேபர் ஓரியன்டட், எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஓரியன்டட், இதெல்லாம் தவிர்க்கிறதுனால தான் காமராஜர் போர்ட்டுக்கு இவ்வளவு ப்ராஃபிட் வருது. இல்ல இதெல்லாம் ஹேண்டில் பண்றதுனால தான், இதெல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம மெயின்டைன் பண்றதுனால தான் சென்னை போர்ட்டுக்கு இது இருக்கா? எதிர்காலத்தில் இந்த பாலிசி போர்ட் செக்டர்ல எப்படி இருக்கு?
If I have understood the question correctly,
இந்த ப்ராஃபிட் வந்து அதனுடைய ஃபுல் ப்ராஃபிட்டும் வந்து சென்னை போர்ட்டுக்கு தான் வருமா எதிர்காலத்தில், இல்ல அதனுடைய டெவலப்மெண்ட்டுக்கு அது யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்?
No, this is, I think this is a very, very, if I can say, intelligent and deep question. We have to balance between the 2 ports, right? As you can see, we want synergy. We don't want some kind of a extractive behavior. So we are balancing both the ports. You will be seeing that. Now, whatever profits are getting generated in Kamarajar Port, we are trying to use it in 2 ways. One is, the first charge is on what are the requirements of Kamarajar. So if Kamarajar, I'll give you an example. Today, Kamarajar is spending a lot of money because they are not a part of development project. That's why I didn't highlight. We are doing 160 crores we are spending to put a groin on Ennore Creek. Ennore Creek requires a groin because siltation is happening. It was covered by one of the newspapers in a very big way. And we were happy to see that Kamarajar Port was also mentioned. Otherwise, you don't even mention us also, that we are spending the entire money. So, that we are spending 160 crores. Today, we are restoring the northern breakwater at a cost of 88 crores. We are doing dredging at a cost of 156 crores, 155 crores. We are planning to do dredging at a cost of 549 crores. So first charge is on Kamarajar because government realizes this, we realize this, that which will be the cargo port of Chennai. It will not, it will be no other port. It will be Kamarajar Port. So we don't want to stunt that growth. Connectivity, infrastructure, capacity, the first charge is there. Then whatever remains, in that a reasonable amount is given as a dividend to Chennai Port. Because as you also know that we have taken a loan of almost 1800 crores to acquire Kamarajar. So we have to service that loan also. At the same time, we have to do improvements, at least whatever infrastructure is there, we have to maintain it. And if we are doing elevated corridor, according to that we have to change our infrastructure, modify it. We have to have all these what I talked about, multi-level car parking, all those things we have to do. So both ports have to not only keep their infrastructure in good condition, but also keep on improving it. Of course, this extra capacity will come mainly in Kamarajar. So we are balancing that. As you can see, we are balancing that, and I can say that we are doing it quite reasonably well. No, yeah, okay, yeah, correct. If I was to slightly explain to you in detail, as far as there are certain people, see what is happening is that, as you will know, that if I am carrying, let us say 100 kilogram, and if I am able to carry 200 kilogram, my cost is going to come down per kilogram, right? So the Cape size vessels normally are carrying around anything between, it can be as low as 90,000 tons, it can be as high as 1,60,000 tons. That much of cargo they carry. So you will have baby Cape, you will have a normal Cape, or maybe you can have something like me, old Cape kind of thing, so which will be still bigger, right? So what they were doing, many of them, what they still do, not that they are not doing, what they do is they will bring 1,60,000, let us say, to Krishnapatnam port. They will offload 40,000 tons. Then they will bring 1,20,000 to my port. That I am able to handle, which I am doing right now also. In fact, we have incentivized it. If you look at our trade notices, if you are bringing a Cape size vessels, I have put some, if I remember correctly, 90,000 to 1,20,000, I give some extra discount, 30%. Above 1,20,000, I give 40% discount. So we are trying to incentivize that. Okay, you can't handle full, you do part unloading, you come to me, right? But what I want, there are some people, like I gave an example of limestone in Chennai. He said, look here, I don't want to do this. I will take my entire thing there. So I have lost the entire vessel. I have lost the entire cargo. It is that cargo I have completely lost. So for that, I want to put that facility there, that I am also able to handle Cape size vessels. So some we are able to attract. In fact, every board meeting we are informing board that by this concession, every quarter rather, not every meeting, every quarter, that by this concession, how much I was able to bring that Cape size cargo into my port. So not that everything is lost, especially in Kamarajar, but yes, cargo is lost. That is what I am trying to tackle. That exact number I will not be able to say, because you know this is a bit of a fuzzy thing. There are people who can take in both the ports. There are people who can take only in one port. So I am sorry, but I will not be able to put exact number to it. But this is how the entire thing is operating.
But this Kamarajar port planning to become a green port, any initiatives in this regard? Like DOC port is DOC and two other ports are going to become the green hub of India. This Kamarajar planning, anything, because we are into dirty that is port. And the entire world is now changing to renewable energy. This since you are heavily dependent on coal, do you have a future?
Your question actually has two parts. One part is green port in the sense that how I do my operations, how much environment friendly I am, right? So in that, as I was informing in my presentation, when I give shore power, now today we don't realize when these ships are inside the harbor and when the loading unloading is happening and they are running their own generators to operate these cranes, ship cranes, or the entire lighting, all those facilities, air conditioning inside the vessel, it is ultimately, it is producing carbon dioxide, right? So that we are telling, okay, we will put shore power. So Kamarajar Port, we have taken a major initiative that these two coal berths, first I will put shore power. So this is, I am greening my operations. Number two, as we indicated to you, we have put a 300 kilowatt of solar power plant. Now I don't want to take everybody's time, but this was the optimal capacity for me. This is the highest I could have gone. Whereas if you see, if I remember correctly, Tuticorin is doing around 5 megawatt. Because here in my port, what is happening is that I take my power and each of my PPP operators is taking their own power. So my requirement is a bit low, around 700 or so. So this was the optimal figure, right? So this is what we have done. Third is, if you see my container terminal, you will find all my RMQCs, RTGs, they are electrically operated. They are not running on diesel, they operate on electric power. Then I had indicated to you how my own vehicles also I am trying to use e-vehicles, let us say in garbage collection, etc. And maybe now next step we might be moving for our own transportation inside the port and all that. So that also we are working on. So These are, then I'm putting a desalination plant. I'm putting a desalination plant because I want to supply water not only for my own this thing, but the nearby villages. So these are where, I am trying to use more and more green technology into my operations, right? Number two, the question you are asking is about coal, right? So yes, we are aware of this, that ultimately the world is trying to move away from coal, but we are also aware of the fact that we have around 3,300 megawatt capacity right now, which is around KPL, and 2,700 megawatt is under development. That 800 megawatt which they are doing, what they are calling the stage 3, then they are doing NOR SEZ 600 into 2, then NOR around 600. So we have only prepared up to that. So for that, coal berth 3, coal berth 4 we have developed, and in our master plan, if you see, there is no more coal berths. So now the entire thing is either containers, or it is general cargo, or it is multi-cargo, it is other bulk cargo. So we are not having any more coal berths in our master plan. And these coal berths also, which are already there, in case, let us say, you are right that, ports are not for decades or years, ports are for centuries. So let's say 30 years down the line, you find that, okay, now coal is not there. The same berth can be used for some other bulk cargo. Right now, what I am looking at very immediate future, I would like to tell you. My immediate future, what I am looking at is, as you would have seen, I am constructing a general cargo berth. So this general cargo berth, I'll start handling automobiles, and my existing general cargo berth, I am looking at wind energy equipments. We are in discussion with them. That berth we want to make available for wind energy equipments. Lithium, etc. are into the future. The then chairman will think about it.
So wind energy means turbines?
Yeah, turbines, wind blades.
Sir, the Chennai port 1,600, 700 ships are coming every year. Kamarajar port 1,000. So lakhs of crews are coming. இப்போ இது ஒரு cruise duty free complex. The airport பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பயங்கர டெவலப் ஆயிடுச்சு. Even railway station also developed so many things. But போர்ட்ல அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பெரிய எக்ஸ்க்ளூசிவ் ஒரு டெர்மினல் இது மாதிரி ஒரு காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் மாதிரி அந்த மாதிரி இங்க எதுவுமே ஒரு cruise terminal இருக்கு, உள்ள ஒரு duty free shops. பட் ஏன் வந்து இவ்வளவு லட்சக்கணக்கான பேர் வர்ற ஒரு போர்ட்ல ஏன் வந்து ஒரு நல்ல இது duty free complex?
See, as far as
ஏன்னா இங்க வாங்குனீங்கன்னா அவங்க நெக்ஸ்ட் போர்ட்ல they are paying.
Yeah, actually, again, as far as Chennai port is concerned, we are having 4 duty-free shops. As far as Kamarajar port is concerned, we are having 2 duty-free shops. Now, in airport, it is lot of passenger movement, and those passengers are buying, not the crew. The passengers, those shops, mainly the passengers are doing, right? Crew, what they are buying, I don't need to say it here, right? So what is mainly selling on these shops also, more than me. So I think as far as duty-free shops are concerned, we have enough. What is important for this crew, because as the vessels are increasing, as the vessel size is increasing. Now, when I'm getting Cape size vessel, I'm going to get 1,60,000 of cargo. Every day I can unload 40,000 tons. Right now in Panamex, I am doing it, let's say 2 days, 2.5 days, the fellow goes back, the ship goes back. When I'm doing 1,60,000 and the ship is there for 4 to 5 days, the ship crew would like to get down. They would not like to be on the ship. They are on in a harbor. Why should they be? So what we are doing in Kamarajar, we are developing a seafarer center. The work is already awarded at a cost of 9 crores. So what we are doing there, it will have proper business center, it will have a library, it will have lawn tennis, and some kind of a lounge facilities, internet, then dining. At some point of time, presently I am not doing, but at some point of time maybe a swimming pool also, depending upon how we get the response. So that we are developing, so that they can, by turn, they can come down, they can enjoy this facility for 2-3 days and go back to the ship. So this is for the seafarers. But we don't see them buying much of the duty-free goods the way they do in airport.
But cruise ships are increasing every year.
Cruise ships, yes, they are increasing, and definitely in our cruise terminal, we can look at some kind of Zazi duty-free shops at the appropriate time. Definitely.
You said you are making it as a tourism hub of India. So what sort of other measures?
See, as far as our cruise terminal is concerned, it is reasonably good, as you would have also seen. And now one thing which we have done is we have already frozen our layout in consultation with all our partner agencies like this immigration, then port health officer, customs. That already our deputy chairman had a meeting and entire thing is frozen. So the part which is operating right now is fairly good infrastructure. The entrance and exit were bad. They were not so good. If you really, the way when you were entered the terminal through escalator or you were coming out and getting down, they were not so good. That already our chief engineer has taken action. We are improving that. Then if you go to the first floor of our cruise terminal, you will find that almost 30-35% of the area is not a part of this facility right now. That we are preparing a plan how to bring it into and add it into the terminal itself, the first floor. Because ground floor we can't do much, first floor we are doing that. That is as far as the terminal facility is concerned. Now as far as other facilities are concerned, which you would have seen, there is a limitation because we are operating in a full-fledged cargo port. So we cannot be permitting the private cars, etc. inside. So there we coordinate with our Tamil Nadu tourism. We very closely coordinate, and in the island grounds, all these facilities are created. They park their the individual vehicles there, then buses are brought in and all that. That experience we have made reasonably smooth. Now, as has been told, that as and when these numbers keep on increasing, we will improve. Let us say you can have a cafeteria, you can have duty-free shops, etc. That all depends. It will be with passage of time.
So you were talking about the financial settlements that were made to the employees, which was unresolved from 1998. And also you have shown the exhibition. What is it? Elaborate more on it.
It is slightly. I will elaborate, but it is slightly bureaucratic. But I can elaborate to you. So basically, what has happened that people who retired by 1197, a certain category, then another category who retired by 1198. So the people who had retired later, they were getting lesser pension. They were getting lesser pension. It was based on ministry's guidelines. So when they were implemented, it ended up, not only here, it ended up in all the ports, that people who retired before 1197, this is class, no, but which one is 1197 and 1198? Class 3 and 4 is? So 1197, the class 3 and 4 which retired after 1197 were getting lesser pension than people who retired before that. And class 1 and 2, those who retired after 1198 were getting lesser pension than the class 1 and 2 which retired before 1198. So there was a discrepancy which crept in. So it was contested. It happened in all the major ports. And this was contested in courts. And Supreme Court's final order came in December of 21. December of 21. So then we sought guidelines from ministry, and once they came, then during this year, we paid that amount.
Sir, the port through which the sea bridge status
Is there
is
any amount shown? I mean, how much you have paid?
To each person or something? Otherwise, overall we have paid 53 crores. 53 crores to our people. Yard. The yard, how much we can store at any point of time. At any point of time, 250 containers can be stored.
Sir, port through which the sea bridge status.
If you can just raise your hand also, okay.
Port through which
That query is out of syllabus for this press meet.
Sir, you have decided to release the draft in
compliant.
So you would have seen a week ago, Parliamentary Committee on Shipping had expressed serious concern over the condition of our ports in reference to drafts. So, in light of such recommendation, are you planning to? I know the average draft in Madras Chennai port is around 14.5 to 15. Apart from Baltic office is more steep. Are you planning the same set of capital dredging in Chennai port so that larger vessels can come to Chennai port?
So this is again a very interesting observation you are making. Yes, the parliamentary committee has told that there is a need to increase the draft in all the major ports of the country, and not only major, even minor should also, non-major also should take these steps, right? So as this is something, in fact, when we have done the IRR of that entire project, it is good. It can be implemented. It is, it's more than 13%, right? But what we are, Kamarajar Port. But what we are also adding there is, we should not be only looking at IRR, we have to be future ready. And this Parliament Committee recommendation is sort of strengthening our argument. Now coming to Chennai Port, as you will appreciate that once you are increasing the depth, your berths have to be ready for that. For example, today, for handling coal, for TANGEDCO and NTCL, we will make our coal berth 3 and coal berth 4 Cape compliant. They are already done like that. But coal berth 1 and 2 cannot be done because the pile depth, everything, right? So here, those kind of limitations, I mean, you can't make every berth Cape compliant. That is one part, and it is not needed also. See, for example, if you are handling a car, that car carrier will never require 18-meter draft. So you don't need to. Yeah. So only for 1 or 2 berths. Now here what is happening is that the request has come from our partners. And we are seeing it, that this is happening in business. No such requirement has come here. Yeah, the requirement will come. There's a likelihood of requirement coming when these containers vessels are increasing in size now, slowly. So what we are anticipating is that in 2031, when our first container terminal agreement is expiring, and we are going for the fresh bidding, that time definitely we may have to go for higher depths. So it will be, the decision will be when it is appropriate for Chennai. Ultimately you spend hundreds of crores.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, last question. Sir, private ports, and the logistics companies are stakeholders. நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து ஆபீஸ் அகாமடேஷன் வந்து செப்பரேட் காம்ப்ளெக்ஸஸ் அவைல் நம்ம போர்ட்ல சென்னை போர்ட்ல இப்ப நம்ம போர்ட் லிமிட் கஸ்டம்ஸ் லிமிட்டுக்கு வெளியில இருக்க பில்டிங்ஸ் எவ்வளவு ஏரியா வந்து வெக்கேட்டடா இருக்கு, அதுக்கு வந்து நீங்க உங்களுடைய பழைய லேண்ட் பாலிசி பிரகாரம் பார்த்தா மார்க்கெட் ரேட்டை விட இது அதிகமா இருக்கிற மாதிரி ஃபீல் பண்றாங்க. அதுல ஒரு கன்செஷன் பண்ணி இந்த சிஹெச்ஏ ஷிப்பிங் கம்பெனிஸ் அண்ட் அதர் கவர்மெண்ட் ஏஜென்சிஸ் இதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து இடம் கொடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லி ரொம்ப நாளாவே அந்த கோரிக்கை இருக்கு. அதுக்கெல்லாம் கன்சிடர் பண்ணா ஒரு பெரிய ஹியூஜ் ஆஃப் அமௌண்ட் வந்து ரெண்டர்ல வர்றதுக்கும் வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. அதே நேரத்தில் போர்ட்டோடைய ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸும் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டர்ஸ், சிஹெச்ஏ ஷிப்பிங் கம்பெனிஸ், அந்த லேண்ட் பாலிசி வந்து இட் இஸ் கம்பேர்ட் டு அதர் அந்த பாரிஸ் ஏரியா கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது அதிகமா ரெண்டர் இருக்கு. அதுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்பெஷலா ஏதாவது கன்சிடர் பண்ணி பண்றது மாதிரி
இல்ல சிவகுமார், எனக்கு இல்ல இப்ப எனக்கு என்ன சந்தேகம் வருதுன்னா, நீங்க என்னோட ஃபைல் படிச்சிட்டீங்க போல இருக்கு. Because 2 days back I have cleared a file. What happened that, as you are rightly telling, Rajaji Salai only mainly I have vacant buildings. So what we did, my people were telling nobody is taking. But in government, you have to first establish that nobody is taking. So we did one round of bidding. Nobody came for the 5 locations, if I remember correctly. In 5 groups we had divided and we did, nobody came. Now we have formed a committee exactly to interact with port users and other people. Let us say all these, custom agent, everybody who are occupying buildings opposite to us. So why they are not coming here? What is their expectation on rent and everything? Just 2 days back we have formed a committee to have an interaction with these people. And once in one bidding I have discovered that it has not gone, then only I have an argument to reduce it. So that part I have completed. Now this committee has been formed. This committee will be interacting and doing exactly what you are telling.
Thank you, friends. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I say now these are last two questions. Target for the coming year, 23-24, which incidentally is my complete year as chairman, the last complete year as chairman of these ports, these two ports. Our target is 100 million tons, both put together. Now it can, I mean, what I practically see we can achieve is around 48-52. 48 we should do in Kamarajar and 52 we should do in Chennai. Now it will all depend upon whether that 800 megawatt gets ready. There are certain this thing, but we are trying our best. I want to do 100 million tons in my last year as chairman. Cruise ships are in two categories. One is domestic. So domestic, though, as you know, last time we had for 4 months. We expect to have it again for 4 months this year. Otherwise, I would say hardly 8 to 10 international.
Sir, on the cruise ship, domestic, how and the company are feeling of the Chennai trade?
I would say I would say it's very positive, and it is positive is also proved by the fact that another company, MSC Cruises, looking at the success, have come for discussion now. So I think it is quite positive.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now only they take this. Right.
Okay, thank you.
हिंदी और तमिल में
चलो दे देते हैं ഇതിലെയാ என்ன சொல்லணும் சொல்லுங்க ரெண்டு மூணு சென்டென்சஸ் சொன்னா போதும்.
Silent, silent. விடுங்க போதும்.
Can you please maintain silence slightly, 2 minutes. This last financial year 22-23 இந்த கடந்த நிதி ஆண்டு 2022-2023 இந்த ரெண்டு போர்ட்ஸ்லயும் சென்னை போர்ட்ஸ்லயும் காமராஜர் போர்ட்ஸ்லயும் நல்ல கார்கோவும் நல்ல ப்ராஃபிட்டும் அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். இங்க சென்னை போர்ட் பொறுத்தவரையும் நாங்க growth அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். அப்புறம் லாஸ்ட் 13 வருஷத்துல இல்லாத 150 கோடி ப்ராஃபிட் நாங்க earn பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். காமராஜர் போர்ட் பொறுத்தவரையும் நாங்க 12.3% growth அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். பிளஸ் ப்ராஃபிட் பொறுத்தவரையும் ப்ராஃபிட் பிஃபோர் டாக்ஸஸ் நாங்க கிட்டத்தட்ட 669 crores நாங்க அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். 669 கோடி அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். மொத்தம் ரெண்டு போர்ட் சேர்த்து லாஸ்ட் இயர்ல 92 மில்லியன் டன்ஸ் கார்கோ அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம். இந்த வரும் நிதி ஆண்டில் 100 மில்லியன் டன்ஸ் அச்சீவ் பண்ணணும், அது டார்கெட் இலக்கு வச்சிருக்கிறோம். இந்த மீட்டிங் அவுட் ஆஃப் சிலபஸ். ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ. இல்ல இல்ல அது ஒரு தனி பிரஸ் மீட்டே பண்றேன் அதுக்கு. I will invite RO also. Okay. Okay, thank you.